Universal Realms is now live. This is episode 35, The Struggles of Content Creation. Just like our small podcast, creators struggle with growing a channel all the time. In this episode, we will go over why and how of content creation. As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. And as a note, a podcast update, we will be now going bi-weekly. We'll be doing one episode a month on a topic and one episode a month on the news, starting with this episode. And Joe, speaking of which, why does content creation suck? Ass.
Because we all just suck. We all just suck.
Yeah,
We all think
that's
we're
very
reporters. We all think we have something to say. And the internet has given us a voice to say it. And gosh dang it, we're going to say it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I think different people do it for different reasons, right? Like, I'm stuck at home. I can't really work for a living because of life things that have happened. And so I tried or trying to make content to fill that void / maybe make some kind of career out of it. But I mean, the reality of it is that it's a struggle for everyone, but especially for people who are trying to make it big. There's that percentage that, I don't know, 1% to 10% that strikes it big, hits it big within weeks or months or whatever. And then there's people like us who have been making content. I mean, I've been making content off and on, and I know you've been going for as long or longer. Granted, you've had way more success than me, and even that's kind of not stating it mildly, but like, you've been way more successful than me, and you're not super successful. So it just shows you that it's legitimately just a struggle.
Yeah, and so for those who listened to the previous episode about content creating, we're not trying to rehash the same thing that we talked about. This video is more of a very base guideline. Why we do it, why most fail, and how do some succeed. And at the end of the day, it's all about, as we talked about in that first episode, it's all about passion. You have to have a lot of interest and a lot of love and dedication to whatever you're trying to make a platform for. If you love gaming, it's going to be even harder, as Mark knows, because there are literally millions of other people around the world doing the exact same thing you are trying to do. How do you set yourself separate from them is what's going to make you a unique person. And that's, it's what most people struggle with, I feel, is what makes you unique. Because you could be playing World of Warcraft, but everyone else is playing. There's millions of other people at the same time playing World of Warcraft, streaming and not streaming. What makes you unique, and why are people going to watch you? And it takes a long time to get there.
Personality.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a long time to get there, and it takes personality. So some people, they don't have a good sense of interaction. They don't know how to speak to others. They don't know how to, I guess you could say, fake it till you make it. Because when you're starting as a content creator, especially if you're streaming, you're streaming to nobody.
Yeah.
One person to nobody, and you've got to talk, and you have to act like you're talking to people.
Yeah, it's super important to be engaged with your people. And so I'll be honest, let's talk about me for a little bit with my channel. So my first dabble into, I'd make YouTube content, was over a decade ago. Actually, it's like 15 years ago, probably. But in that time frame, yeah, what I was making content, here's the old man. What I first started making content for was, everyone's gonna laugh, BlackBerry. And I know my cousin's probably watching this, and he's like, oh my God, yeah, I remember. So I was making videos on, new BlackBerry apps, new devices, and whatever it be. And that's how my channel grew. And we're talking, again, 15 years ago, where YouTube actually paid its creators good money. So I was making was making $300 to $400 just making content that I love doing, and all of it was pre-recorded stuff before, before streaming, which really was a thing. There was Justin TV back then out, but I wasn't doing any streaming. It was all pre-prepared, pre-recorded content stuff. And actually, it all started with a contest that one of the news BlackBerry sites were hosting. So I went ahead and I enrolled in that, made a fake kind of advertisement video for BlackBerry. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. I really enjoy doing this. And I just kept doing it. And of course, BlackBerry fizzled out, so my channel had to fizzle out because I had nowhere to go with that. So I kind of tweaked it into Alienware stuff because I was starting to get back into PC gaming. I bought I got what they used to call a stream. What was it called? A stream PC or something? Where
don't ask
Steam,
me.
a Steam.
I stayed away from
Steam PC.
Alienware.
But they had a Steam PC. It was a little tiny PC. Essentially, it was the inside of a laptop, but in a size of like a console. And I got it for dirt cheap at Walmart, and it was a really good deal. And I had a blast using it. And I was like, maybe I should record myself testing out some games with this. So if other people want to use it, they understand like this is how this game performs, this is how the other game performs, etc. And those were doing okay. And then I started adding in like hardware. I'm going to upgrade the RAM. Maybe people want to know, how do you upgrade RAM? How do you upgrade CPU? So I started making these different videos as well. And those were all really, really cool. And still, my most successful videos were those videos, period. Comparing to all the flight sim I've done, those are the most successful. Those are 30,000 views, some of them. So very good content. And it was a lot of fun. But again, I shifted gears. I switched over from using that stuff to going into laptops, which, was a bad decision in my life. Yes. But so I ended up just kind of leaving alone the content creating for many, many years. And then over the course of the last year and a half or so, getting into flight sim, and it's a niche community. And I've had, small success with it, but I've had a lot of fun doing it. And I started off just doing videos, but then switched over to streams. And then I mixed it both in. But I never liked streaming because, one, like Mark experiences right now, I didn't have people come in. So it's like I'm flying a sim and I'm talking to myself, which gets boring. So I went and did videos, got an audience. Those became successful. Now I have a regular audience that comes in and I'm communicating with them and we're building a community. And it's become a lot more engaging. And now I enjoy streaming more than making videos.
It's so funny listening to you though, because like our journeys in content creation couldn't be more different. Because I started content creating because I got into an MMO that I was watching. I was watching people play the MMO while I was playing it, and this was 2014, I want to say, is the year. I want to say that was the year. It was when ArcAge came out, and there's a couple content creators that I watch to this day. That when I started watching them, one of them is a fairly successful content creator named Carnage, and when I was watching him, he only had 800 viewers, which is still a lot. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But considering how many people that he has watching him when he's live now, which is usually around the 10, like when he's live on his main channel and doing his regular morning streams and whatnot, he usually has at least about 10,000 people watching him.
Jeez.
At a time. So, and he started at 800. Like when I started watching him, he was only around 800 viewers. And so I, was like, they're having so much fun streaming the game and playing it, and I'm playing the game. Why don't I just, try streaming it? And that's literally what I did. And I made videos with it too. I think the video is now gone. I deleted it. I deleted a lot of my old content for personal reasons, really. But my most successful video only had, I think it got up to 10,000 after 11 years, and it was basically talking about, so arcades at the time had a really expensive founders pack. It was $150 founder edition, and I had bought it, and I made a video about was it worth it, and I was talking about like how it was mostly worth it based on what I put into the game. Like the $150 founder edition that I purchased was worth it because of how much I played the game and made it worth it. But like a casual person spending $150 on this game, it would be crazy. But especially if you don't like play it hardcore. But and it did really well. It did, like I said, but I never reached like super successful things. And I tried doing before I tried like super content creation of like streaming and trying to stream every week and everything. I tried doing like let's plays and certain things like that, and they didn't do super well, probably because of the games I chose. It's a really weird thing, whereas your niche thing took off a little bit better. My niche thing didn't, because I'm an avid RPG player. I'm an avid JRPG player. Unfortunately, those type of games are they do lend better for let's plays than live streams, because if you miss a live stream of the game, there's a good chunk of story that you might miss. And so obviously, like a let's play, you can just kind of go find the part that you missed and catch up on it and whatnot. But like a live stream, and this is before I really knew how to like mess around with VODs and all that stuff. But I unfortunately had various degrees of success, but none of it like super successful. I think my live streaming, I think I got rated one time and got my viewership up to like 50, 60, 70 people from a raid.
Nice.
And that was probably like my highest like viewership. And I maintained about a quarter of them. So I did okay, but yeah, I mean, that's as best as I did, and that's nothing. I mean, there was no real building, and a lot of my. Whereas you have like a consistency, you know what you're gonna do when you're gonna do it. I did not. I was very, my family was growing. My family was younger. Schedules would change. I was still working back then. You know, there was all kinds of things. I couldn't commit to a real schedule until COVID. And then the problem happened then is I tried to commit and do a schedule, and I would stream every day for, I think for a good year, maybe two. I streamed quite a bit, and I tried to be fairly on schedule, but I wasn't really getting an audience. And between doing that for at least a year and gaining like almost no traction and whatnot, just kind of led to burnout, and I ended up quitting streaming and didn't touch it again until I started streaming again a couple months ago. It'd been at least 2 years, if not maybe three,
Well, and
since I'd really touched content creation.
like Will says in chat, he says priorities, and your priorities had to shift.
Mhm.
You had to focus
Yep.
on family. The same is with me. Like prior to my health stuff, it was a career. I was working on a
Yep.
career. I focused on a career, and then my health stuff changed my priorities in life, which is I want to enjoy life. I want to have fun doing what I'm doing, and that is for me flight sim. And so my priorities
Mm-hmm.
now are to to share my knowledge and passion with other people who are interested in flight sim. And you're trying to do the same thing on your Twitch channel, on your YouTube channel. Share your passion with other people who might have similar passions.
Yes.
You're in the world of VTubers, and we've had an entire video on that. But your
Mm-hmm.
passion is to continue the trend and interest of VTubers, and that's
Yeah.
super important.
And the thing is like I chose a very bad. In that sense, I chose another bad kind of niche because 2020 COVID is when VTubers took off.
Hmm.
It exploded. The American scene especially exploded, and now there's VTubers of everything. I mean, I've seen toilet VTubers. I've seen. I'm not kidding. I've seen.
Toilet VTubers. I need to do that. That's a toilet flight simmer. I'm gonna sit on a toilet and
I've
flight sim.
seen. Oh no, it's just a toilet with eyeballs and a mouth.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
Yep.
okay. I think I've seen
I've
that
seen a
actually.
foot. I've seen a foot VTuber where it was literally someone's foot. I've
I
seen.
saw a dude
Uh,
that wore a he. I don't know if this is considered a VTuber, but he wears like a mask. Like there's nothing on the front. It's just like all white or black. Or I think it's all black. It's like a Darth Vader kind of thing, but not. And he talks about technology. I don't know if that's VTubing or not, but
uh,
it's almost like he's a
I don't know.
hacker,
I'd have to see
from
it.
the games. But I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
But he has
I've
thousands of
seen
followers,
some.
hundreds of thousands.
I've seen some weird shit out there. I'm just saying. I've seen some weird VTuber models out there. There was a guy who was literally uh, a body with his head was a loaf of bread. Yep.
Okay.
That's the silence is yep, the silence was deafening. That was his VTuber model was he had like a human body and then there was a loaf of bread on his head. I've seen frog VTubers where they're literally frogs. There's been a new trend where some people will take like a plushie and they'll cut out the mouth so that the mouth can move and rig the model so that the plushie's moving, and it's been a kind of a small trend where I've seen several VTubers do that, and it's really interesting, but at the same time, very weird. Um, I'd have to show you a clip of one of my favorite streamers doing it, and you'd see what I mean. But what I'm trying to say is there's all kinds of VTubers out there, all kinds of different models. So trying to catch in on the trend has already been smashed, crashed, blast, powdered into dust, and spit out and regurgitated. And now if you and type in VTuber, there's pages of people streaming as VTubers, and a
That
lot of them just like streamers, 0 viewers, 0 viewers, 1, 3. It's bad.
that brings us to why most fail. So inconsistency, lack of clear niche, quitting too soon, nothing unique, poor understanding, low engagement, perfectionists, unrealistic expectations, and underinvesting in skills. So all of these plus a lot more will
Oh yeah.
set you up for failure. And the inconsistent part, that's an interesting one right there because it can fall into two categories. Do you need to have a schedule set for streaming? No. I challenge people and I say no, you don't have to have a consistent schedule for streaming. Do you need to stream weekly? Yes. You do need to have a weekly schedule. There are many streamers I know, not know personally, but I watch that have a schedule, and many who do not. They just hit the button, notification goes out, and people jump in, and they have hundreds of people that watch them. That's just how it works
I
out
think
because they
it
have
depends.
communities.
I think it really depends too, though, because I've noticed at least in the VTuber sphere that when you're first starting out, it's fairly important to try and have a semi at least a semi schedule because people are trying to discover you and they want to know that um at certain days. So
You're a dragon.
yes, I am a dragon.
I agree and don't. But so the thing is what's important with consistency is when consistency. It may not be the day, but it's the time of day. You are
There's a VTuber
consistently
that's a fox, by the way, that I'm just now looking at. He's literally got a fox head.
You consistently stream in the morning, or you consistently stream in the night. You know, that's the consistency I think is more important than the actual day itself. And like Will
That's
says,
true.
honesty
That
is
is true.
important in there as well.
That is true.
Like for me, I stream mornings. You primarily stream mornings. This week, because of my work schedule, I streamed once in the evening. And today I'll go back to streaming in the morning. So like the ones that I know that don't have a schedule always stream at around the same time. Kip in the Ground, who is a flight simmer, he streams in the evenings. He's always evenings. You have no idea if he's going to stream that day or not, or if he is. You'll find out in Discord, right? Or you'll get the notification. But people will pop in there because he's consistent of when he's going to stream. So if he's not streaming and it's 8:30 at night, well, you know he's not streaming. That kind of thing, right? But yeah, it could be beneficial to actually have a set schedule. I stream Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. That's it. Every single day, that's how you do it. But you can also get burnt out by having that consistent streaming.
Exactly.
Because again, we go back to priorities, life versus content creating. And
Priorities
if you're focusing too
feelings.
much on and feelings, like people also have to realize we are all humans. These quote unquote content creators. And
I'm a dragon, but I am a human.
Yeah, exactly. And we all have outside world things going on, right? You have a family. I have pets, and I have a job I go to. I have a wife.
There's also things like for example, there's things like mental health. You, as a content creator, especially a streamer. Now this is purely the streaming side of things. When you're making YouTube videos, you can fake it, make it. You can pause the video. You can pause the editing process or the recording process.
You can't with
when
streaming.
you're live streaming. Exactly. So
like today.
if I wake up, exactly. Like I try and stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday because Mondays don't work and Fridays don't work, and neither do Sundays. So I try and stream on those days. This week I haven't streamed at all. Partially, feelings are a part of it. Yes, I've woken up. There's been several, but then a lot of it is like schedules, life, etc. Like you said, because I've woken up every single day this week that I'm supposed to stream. I woke up and the energy wasn't there.
I've told you, don't do it unless you have the willpower. Unless you have the passion, because you're gonna come off being like, I'm gonna play this game now, and I'm doing this right now.
Which
that's not entertaining.
Your cousin, oddly enough, does really well when he does that. So I guess maybe we're in the wrong.
He has that community though.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I don't want to come to a stream with low energy. I want to be able to stream so that way if someone pops into my channel, I can immediately engage with them. If I am focused on just the screen because I'm struggling to stay awake to whatever, it's not. It's not. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way, and that's a lot of it. And that's unfortunately having a schedule like mine and like yours. That's where it can fall flat, because if I'm supposed to go live Tuesday at 10-11 a.m. and I don't go live, then Wednesday goes by, Thursday go by. It can affect your mentality as well, as like, oh, I haven't done anything this week. I haven't done any content creating. I haven't streamed at all. I still plan to stream tomorrow at my normal times, or at least I'm going to try to. We'll see. I mean, this is my fault, and hopefully other people that have the same problem can get past it. But just being able to maybe stream at a different time, and I could have went live at different times and at least been live that day and see how it goes. Maybe that new time stream does better. But for me, I haven't been able to make myself do it, and that's on me. Hopefully, maybe other content creators can do that, and they have success, because that's something that I do need to dabble in. I need to try going live at different times and seeing if maybe the time frame works better, because I'm a VTuber. I'm in the VTuber category. Going into the VTuber category, there's 30, 40, 50, 100, billion people that are streaming as VTubers right now with various success. So, maybe at the 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. time slot, maybe there's too many people that are well known, whatever, that people go to, whereas maybe going live at like 3 p.m., maybe there aren't as many people on, or the people that are already on already have their audience. There's different things that could happen,
Yeah.
And that's what the open-mindedness of being able to go live whenever will kind of work in their advantage.
Yeah, and like Will says, he says he works his ass off regardless of how much energy he has, and he says don't expect consistency in viewers when you don't stream again,
Yep,
and that's
and
truth.
that's very true.
So
That is very true.
brings us to the final topic, which is how to succeed. And well, Pixel Realms hasn't done well. There's no doubt
No.
about it. We are a small podcast compared to anyone else out there. We're 35 episodes in. We know, but going into Pixel Realms, we knew what the expectation was, and that
Yep.
is if we get one view, cool. The idea obviously is a very slow grow. Add in a new subscriber that, 25% of the time they'll watch, and then add another one, and then another one, and it's going to take a long time. It may not be until the hundreds of episodes where you finally
Yep.
get a community, because that's when you figure out what you do on your channel.
Yeah.
And that's what
No,
we're
that's
going through
true.
here live with Pixel Realms, which is great to have this kind of conversation to see
Mm-hmm.
where we either go wrong or where we may succeed with the channel. And then also
Yeah.
understanding your audience. Okay.
Yep.
We've made this channel, or sorry, this podcast, because we both have a lot of passion when it comes to mental health within video games, and how
Yep.
video games are not negative, but they are a positive for so many people. It is a way to escape life, and we've covered this in a couple different episodes. And that is the foundation of Pixel Realms.
Yeah.
And we try to make every second count with Pixel Realms.
It
Sometimes we
doesn't. It
drag
doesn't.
things on,
Well,
but
we're people,
yeah,
Sometimes we have to get our brains together while we're talking, especially being live now.
mhm,
There is no edit button, so we're gonna kind of stumble over our words and stumble over each other
yeah,
because we are two separate people, and that's the thing. Like, we're two different personalities, and that kind of stuff happens. But I think at the end of the day, it's the core message and the core foundation of what we're trying to represent that matters.
yeah, absolutely. And so before we even start this episode today, Mark and I had a conversation. We had our let's say quote unquote meeting for the day, and it was about Pixel Realms. What do we want to
Yep.
do going forward? And we brainstormed. And part of me was like, okay, let's shut down the actual weekly podcast and focus on just video content using the videos we already have. Mark's like, well, how about we do every 2 weeks? And I was like, that's a great idea. And then we can do one that's a topic, one on news. So we found a happy balance with what we like to do. We love working on this podcast, but we also know we have to shake things up to continue to make it grow. And Will
Yep.
says, it's
And
great. Be yourself and don't overdo it.
exactly. And also, we're going to try other different things. Joe doesn't really mess around with the Twitch side of things. I'm heavily on Twitch. I've made a Pixel Realms channel for Twitch. So I'm going to try and finish setting up the channel for streaming. And then when we go live on our episodes, I also want to go live on Twitch using my stream key and since Twitch kind of has a better understanding of categories, whereas YouTube, I think there are categories, but it's not as set in stone, not as black and white. At least for me, I think it's like set by algorithm
Hmm.
for at least on my end. That's like I'll have categories at the top, but it'll be of like algorithm type stuff of like if I'm watching VTubers, there'll be a VTuber one, there'll be a live this or that. And with Twitch, there's an actual browse category where you can go to a podcast category.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that.
That's why I couldn't find you on Twitch. Well, yeah, because we're not live on Twitch right now.
Oh,
Try Kick. There's Kick. I mean,
I haven't even heard of
I'm not a
Kick.
big You've never heard of Kick? You
No,
can't be serious.
I'm serious. What is Kit?
Wow. Kick is a streaming platform like Twitch, but
Oh,
it
I see.
is
It looks
the
just like
problem.
Twitch.
A lot of people, depending on who you are, I'm not a super huge fan of Kick because there are kind of there's a lot of gambling content over there. That's kind of how they made their claim to fame was they allow gambling and stuff over there, which is not the end of the world. It's not like I'm not Mr. Morals, that's for sure. I don't know. There's some content creators over there that I'm not a big fan of that I don't want to be associated with. But at the same time, Twitch is not perfect either. Um,
Hmm.
there is no perfect place to stream.
No.
But I think definitely having different platforms is very important to potential growth. Trying to go live on Twitch while you're live on YouTube will be, you know, no, not lotto scratchers. I mean actual like actual gambling. You know,
That's pretty good. A lot of
you do enough.
scratchers.
You do enough of the gambling for the two of us, honey.
Speaking of which, I
My
won 20
wife
bucks
being in.
last week. I off of Mega Millions or Powerball, whatever the hell it was. So I feel
Oh,
like
she never
I won
wins
$1
money
billion.
off of them. She never wins money off of the actual lotto. She wins them off the scratchers, and then she'll spend $40 and win 20. Sometimes she'll spend $40 and win $500.
I had
So
the super excited to depressed to okay moment when I woke up that morning and I got an email that says you've won from Illinois State Lottery or Illinois
oh
Lottery, and I was
boy.
like, oh my god! So I opened up the app and I saw that I think it was Mega Millions was like down to its normal number. I was like, oh boy, someone won a lot of money. And then I looked at my ticket and whatever, and it's like, congratulations, you've won $20. And I was like, oh, oh.
Well, thank God we
But
don't
hey,
have that.
it's 20 bucks at
We have
least.
an app, but yeah,
So
that's hey.
I won my money
Don't
back.
spend it all in one place. Don't spend it all in one place, champ.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, anyways, this episode, again, about just as we're a struggling YouTube channel. Mark is a struggling YouTube channel. I'm a very small, struggling YouTube channel. And, it's cool to do this and talk about it as we continue to grow our own individual content and as we grow our Pixelrums as well.
Yeah.
Mark, anything else to add to this wonderful episode?
No, just I stream on Twitch. I am doing content on YouTube, and that's about it. I don't really have anything to add this time around.
Perfecto. Well, I'll be streaming my little flight sim in about 40-ish minutes on my channel. So if you're interested in that content, come on over. And I hope you all here, at least in the U.S., if you are in the U.S., have a great 4th of July day and weekend. And we'll see you
America
in 2 weeks for our next episode. Take care.
news. Bye-bye.